Hey, welcome to another Monday moment. It's been a while since I've come to you with a Monday moment. We were on sabbatical the month of July, and now that we're back, I thought I would share with you a pattern that I've seen in the book of Philippians. And we know the Philippians were very near and dear to Paul's heart. It was, the church in Philippi was birthed out of, Lydia's, conversion and baptism, and Paul was very fond of them. And so you really see his heart, his care and his heart for the church in Philippi. You'll see language like, in chapter 4, verse 1, my beloved and longed for brethren, my joy and crown. So Paul writes some of the most affectionate language in his writings to the Philippians. And, there was even, rumors that Paul and Lydia were romantically involved, but there's nothing at all to support that. But I want to draw your attention to something that Paul writes to the church in Philippi there. In each chapter, there is a reference to being of one mind or being like-minded, or, you see it in chapter 1, verse 27, only let your conduct be worthy of the gospel of Christ, so that whether I come and see you or am absent, I may hear of your affairs, that you stand fast in one spirit with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. Chapter 2, verses 2 and 3, it speaks of the mind, and even in verse 5, it says, fulfill my joy by being like-minded, having the same love, being of one accord, of one mind. Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interest of others. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. You see it in chapter 3 and chapter 4 too. Chapter 3, verse 15, therefore let us, as many as are mature, have this mind. And if in anything you think otherwise, God will reveal even this to you. And in chapter 4, verse 2, I implore Euodia and I implore Syntyche to be of the same mind in the Lord. In verse 7, peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ. Obviously, to the Apostle Paul, the church being of one mind, being like-minded, having the same mind, was very, very important. It was important to Paul. It was important to the growth of the church. That, first church plant really in Europe. I've been there where Lydia was baptized, where there's the church of St. Lydia's Baptistry. And very important to Paul that they had the right mind. And I love how even in verse 27 of chapter 1, it says that you stand fast in one spirit with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. When our hearts and our minds are one, we're striving for the same thing. We're not striving for recognition or entitlement. We're not striving for position or platform. We're striving together for the faith of the gospel. I love that. I think it's very, very important that as believers in Jesus, as maybe you're spiritual leaders in your church, maybe you're involved in leadership here at Restored Church, that we strive together for the faith of the gospel, that be our goal, that be our aim, and that we have the same mind, that we're like-minded. I found that when our hearts and minds are off, ministry longevity is seldom attained. That, when our hearts and minds are off, there isn't the growth, things get critical. We began to look down on, the way that other churches do things or other ministries do things. And our goal should be to strive for the faith of the gospel. Not for our own faith, not to put our face on something, but to see that what we do so that the gospel would go forth. Why? Because of what Paul said in Romans 1, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's the power of God unto salvation. There is no other message preached that saves souls. It's the gospel. It's the gospel. I pray that this finds you well. I pray that you are like-minded, that you are of one mind, that you're striving together for the faith of the gospel as well. God bless you until we meet again.